Hey everyone, in this video we'll walk you through how to integrate and test PubScale's Offerwall on web. We'll cover 3 key steps: adding your app onto the dashboard, integrating the Offerwall into your website, and setting up server callbacks to get instant reward updates when a user completes an offer. Alright, let's get started. First, head over to dashboard.pubscale.com and create an account if you don't already have one. Once you're in, go to the Offerwall section and click on Create Offerwall. Since we're integrating with a website, I'll choose website as the platform and enter the site URL. Let's import the site info, and here we'll give our Offerwall a name and then click Add. You'll notice the integration type is automatically set to web integration since we have selected a website. Okay, next, let's configure the payout details. First, you can choose your in-app currency. I'll go with coins, but if your app uses something else, you can add a custom currency too. Now this part defines the exchange rate from $1 to your in-app currency. We can understand this with a quick example. So let's say $1 gives your users 100 coins and you want to retain a 30% margin, then you'd set the exchange rate as 70. And if you're still not sure what to enter, a good rule of thumb is to just think about how much value your users expect from a $1 purchase. Here you also have an option to add in a custom currency icon. I'm skipping it for now, but we do recommend adding one to match your branding. Lastly, you'll be asked to fill in a few more details. These help us understand your setup better and optimize your monetization. And once you're done, click Create and your Offerwall will be set up. Your app will now go through a quick review process, but don't worry, we'll notify you once it's approved. But in the meanwhile, you can go ahead and continue with the website integration. Let's open up the integration docs by clicking on this tab here. On the left, you'll find the documentation for different integration types. And since we're working on a web integration, let's go ahead and select that. For this demo, we're not creating a new project from scratch. Instead, we'll walk you through a sample integration and highlight where the Offerwall code goes. And if you'd like to follow along and test it out for yourself, the project files are available on GitHub. In my case, I've already started the sample app locally, and it looks like this. Over here, you'll see the user ID that we're using to initialize the Offerwall. We'll get into that in a bit. And next to that, we have the coin balance. This should increase once we complete an offer. And here, we have a launch Offerwall button that triggers the whole flow. Now if we come back to our documentation, here we can see we have 3 ways to integrate the Offerwall on web. The first one is using an iframe, where you embed the Offerwall directly onto your website. Next is using a direct URL, where a simple anchor tag links to the Offerwall. And next is using JavaScript, which programmatically opens the Offerwall. For this demo, we'll use the JavaScript method. If we open our sample project, you'll find the main file inside the src folder. This file basically renders the app and contains a few constants at the top. Let's break these down. The first one is the user ID, and this is what uniquely identifies the user. I'll set it to test_user. And next we have the app ID. And you can get this directly from the dashboard by simply clicking on this copy icon right here. And then we have the sandbox flag, and we'll set that to true. This basically runs the Offerwall in sandbox mode, and this creates a safe environment for testing before going live. These values are then passed into a component called landing. And inside this component, we've defined a method called handleOpenWebOfferwall. This method is triggered when the user clicks the Launch Offerwall button. Within this method, we're reading the user ID, app ID, and the sandbox flag, and building the Offerwall URL by attaching them as query parameters. And finally, we'll use window.open to open the Offerwall. Once this is set up, let's go back to our app. You'll now see that the user ID appears here, and when we click on Launch Offerwall, it redirects to the Offerwall page. And on the Offerwall page, you'll see a few test offers, and on the top you can also see a sandbox indicator confirming that we are now in test mode. So this covers the basic web integration. Now, let's move on to setting up server-to-server callbacks so you can start receiving real-time updates when a user completes an offer. To understand server callbacks better, let's first quickly look at how the Offerwall works behind the scenes. First, the user taps the Offerwall placement inside your app. The Offerwall opens and they see a list of tasks that they can complete to earn rewards. Let's say they go ahead and complete one. Now in the background, the advertiser verifies the completion and sends the result to PubScale servers. From there, we trigger a secure server-to-server callback to your app's backend along with the reward value and the user ID. Your server then instantly credits the users with the reward. And that's it. It's that simple. Once you're on the dashboard, head over to the S2S section. For this demo, I've already set up a Firebase function to handle the callback. So I'll just paste the URL in here and hit save. Now let's quickly test if the callback is working. To do that, you'll find a test callback section right here. This will let you simulate a reward event using test values. The URL shown here is editable, just in case you want to test with a different one. But don't worry, changing this won't affect your saved URL. I'll enter the same user ID we used earlier. And for the reward value, I'll just set it as, let's say, 12 coins. And then click test callback. And there we go. We've received a 200 OK status, which means that the callback worked. You'll also see some metadata below, including your URL and some parameters like signature, token, user ID, and value. These have been automatically included. Since the reward value was sent, let's jump back to the app and check if the coin balance updated. And yes, there it is. The coin balance has increased, confirming that our callback is actually working. Now, if you want to include additional parameters in the callback, you can do that too. Just select the ones you want from the top down. I'll go ahead and add offer name as an example. Now, if you need something custom, you can do that as well. You just need to type in the parameter name and click create. And once you've added all the parameters you need, make sure to hit save. Now let's test the callback again. This time I'll change the reward value to something else. Here you can see that we get another 200 OK status. And if you look at the URL now, you'll see that the custom parameters have also been added. And back in the app, the updated reward is reflected again. So this basically confirms that everything is working as expected. Now that the server callbacks are set up, let's move on to testing the Offerwall using sandbox mode. First, head back to the dashboard and click Launch Sandbox. Let's just recheck to see if the sandbox flag in our code is set to true. And just a quick reminder, sandbox mode is only for testing. Before going live, don't forget to either remove that line or set the flag to false. If you leave the sandbox mode on in the production build, real rewards won't be triggered and you could end up missing out on revenue. Alright, let's verify that the integration is working. We'll start by entering a user ID. I've already set one up for this demo called test_user. I'll just paste it in and hit go. You'll see that the connection has now been established and is now listening for events. This means that the sandbox is up and running for this particular user ID. Okay, let's start testing. I'll pick this 2048 game offer. And the first goal is super simple. It's just to open the game. So let's launch it. And that should do it. Now let's check the logs. And yes, we can see that the reward has been completed and the callback has been sent to your server. Now if we jump back to the app, we can also see that the coin balance has been updated. Now let's go a step further and complete a few more rewards. And once we do that, we can see that the dashboard logs show confirmation. And in the expanded log, we can also verify the callback URL, user ID, and the reward value. And again, back in the app, we can see that the coin balance has increased again, confirming that the integration is working end to end. Now here's something really useful for testing. If you complete all rewards in an offer, it disappears from the sandbox. But don't worry, you can reset the user history to test it again without redoing everything. Let me show you. So here we've completed 3 rewards. I'll just click reset user ID to confirm it. And now when we relaunch the offer wall, we can see that the offer's back. And all the reward statuses are reset and are ready to be tested again. And one last thing before you go live. Make sure the sandbox flag is set to false or removed completely. And that's it. Your app is now all set to start earning from PubScale's Offerwall. And if you do need any help, please do visit our documentation or contact support@pubscale.com. Thanks for watching.